morning, good afternoon, good evening. Based on the time you are accessing this video, this is a tutorial or a coach. We are coaching for people who are solving the 2020 mathematics past questions, and it's a series that we divided them into parts so that the video will not be voluminous, so that people can watch them in bits. Okay, so we divided the 2020 mathematics past question into 4 parts. So part 1 covers from section A from question 1 to 21. Then part 2 covers from 22 to 40. Part 3 covers section B from 1 to 3. And this is our final part of the series, which covers from question 4 to 6. Okay. So if you are accessing this material on YouTube, please, the explanation notes and other past questions can be found on coolchat.com. So remember to visit coolchat.com to have access to other past questions as well as the slide, because I don't want the video to be voluminous. There are certain points I will jump them. So you can visit the website to get more notes, because when we solve, we also add some notes so that when you read that note you can have broader knowledge on the topic, as well as if another question is brought in that same area, you'll be able to solve it. That's the motive, to prepare you for your B.E.C.E examination. Okay, so let's get started. If you're on coolchat.com, if you're accessing this one on YouTube, when you go to JHS, we have B.E.C.E past questions. So you click on B.E.C.E past questions. It will take you to the past questions. So for now, these are the past questions we have. But as time goes on, we'll be uploading more. So right before you write your exam, we have a lot of past questions you can practice with, and you also have a simulation of exam. So you can simulate, you pick at random the questions, so you can solve them, you submit, then we can mark you with the section A, then the section B. You can compare your answers with the answers we provide, so that you can see your standing of the upcoming exam. Okay, so let's get started with the mathematics 2020. So this part covers, we've done from question 1 up to section B, question 3. So I'm moving to from question 4 up to question 6. So that's what this video we are going to talk about. Okay, so the question says solve 2x plus 3 all over 3 plus 2x is equal to 10. Okay, so like I always say, when you are solving such question, get rid of the denominators. So you look for the LCM of the denominators. This one is over 1, but you don't write it. It's over 1, but you don't write it. So the LCM is going to LCM of 3, 1 and 1 is going to be 3, because 3 can go into itself, 1 can also go into 3. So you multiply both sides by the LCM, which is 3. So we will have 3 times the whole of this, so that the 3 can cancel each other. Then 3 times 2x is equal to 3 times 10. Then you simplify. Okay, so once you multiply, this will go up. So you have 2x plus 3 plus 6x is equal to 30. Okay, so in that case, you have your 6x plus your 2x, which makes 8x. Then this one can go. So you have 30 minus 3. That gives you 27. So you end up getting 27. So as you can see, we got rid of this by multiplying both sides by 3. So 3 multiplies this, 3 multiplies this, 3 multiplies this. So you get 2. This 3 will cancel this. That was the motive why we multiply both sides by 3. So we now have 2x plus 3, which is this one. Then 3 times 2x gives you 6x, and 3 times 10 gives you 30. Now you can simplify. So we have 2x plus 6x gives us 8x. Then we move this 3 here, it's positive, so when it comes going to be negative. So 30 minus 3 is 27. We divide both sides by 8. So we end up getting 27 over 8. Or you can change it to mixed fraction. 8 goes here, 3, which is 24. remainder 3. So you get 3 or number 3 over 8 to be the answer. So any of them. Okay. Now the second one says multiply 0.03858 by 0.02, leaving the answer in standard form. Okay. So when you are multiplying decimals, change them to the expression a times 10 exponent b. Okay, where a is the whole number of the number you are given. Okay, the whole number of it, not in decimal, the whole number. And the exponent depends on how many times you move the decimal in order for you to get the whole number. So if you move it 10 times, here it's going to be 10. If you move it 2 times, here it's going to be 2. If you move it 4 times, here it's going to be 4, and so on. Now, if you are moving it to the left, the sign is going to be positive. If you are moving it to the right, then the sign is going to be negative. So remember, right negative, then left positive. So it's like the opposite of the axis, y axis, the x axis. It's the opposite of it. In the x axis, this side is negative and this side is positive. Okay, but this standard is the opposite of it. So remember, if you know this one, the opposite of it, you know the sign of the power. Okay, so if it's going this way, the opposite of this is positive, so it's positive. If it's going that way, the opposite of this is going to be negative. Okay, so let's express our numbers in this format. So once we express it in that format, we can simplify the whole numbers, and later we can multiply by our 10 to the exponent. Okay, so what do we have? We have 0.03858. We have 0.03858. Okay, so the whole number will be from here. Okay, so the whole number will be 3858. So you want to bring the decimal number over here. So you count how many times you need to move. So we start, the decimal number is over here. And remember, we are moving to the right. So you should know the sign of it. So move 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And to the right, so it's going to be negative 5. Okay, so this is the same as 3, 8, 5, 8 times 10 exponent what? Negative 5. Okay, so we were moving to the right. So like I said, it's the opposite of the x-axis and the x-axis. Okay, so opposite of, you are moving to the right, so negative. Then that of 0.02. Okay, the whole number is this one. Okay, so you move the decimal over here. So we have, move it 1, 2. So we move it 2 times. So we have 2, and we move to the right. So 2 times 10 exponent negative what? 2. Okay, so now we multiply this. So the multiplication of this one and this, we just have 3, 8, 5, 8 times 2, and order them. Then the exponents also multiply times 10 exponents negative 2. Okay, So now you multiply this by, so you do your multiplication of this times this. Now what you get, then you also simplify this one. Now from the law of indices, you have a to the power b multiplying the same a, which is the same base, to the power c. The law of indices says that if they are multiplying, you just add their powers. So this is the same as a, then what? B plus c. Okay. So here is going to be 10 exponent negative 5 plus negative 2. Okay. So that gives you 10 exponent negative what? 7. Okay. So when you multiply this one, you just multiply it by this one. Okay, so we are going to see the solution so that we can continue. So like I explained, we've done this part already. We've expressed it to this one. We move 5 times to the right, so it's going to be negative 5. And this one, move 2 times to the right, so it's going to be negative 2. So the multiplication becomes this one, which is this one times and this one. Now you can arrange them, so the 2 can come here. So you know that this times this and this one times this. Okay, so this times this gives you this one. And like I have explained, in the law of indices, if the bases are the same, you add their powers. So you have times 10 exponent negative 5 plus negative 2. And negative 5 plus negative 2 gives negative 7, so which is this one. Okay, so that would be, this one is not in the standard form. Okay, so you need to put it in the standard form. So a standard form says that your decimal should be right after the first non-zero digit. The first non-zero, which means not 0, not any 0. It doesn't have to start with 0. So the first digit that is not 0, your decimal should be after it. So you need to move your decimal to the position where it is non-zero. Okay. Now 7716, every number has 0.0 attached to it, but we don't write it. So 1 is equal to 1.0, 2 is equal to 2.0, 3 is equal to 3.0, 4 is equal to 4.0. So 1000 will be equal to what? 1000.0. So every number has a decimal 0.0, a decimal there, which we don't write. Okay. So 7716 also have a decimal 0.0 there. So if you have 0.0 here and we want it to come right after the first non-zero, okay, so I start a new one. Okay, so we have 7716. So 7716. So like I said, every number has 0.0 there, which we don't write. So 7716. There is 0.0 here. Okay. Now, the law of standard form says that the decimal should come after the first non-zero digit at the left. Okay, so at the left. So this is the first non-zero digit. So we need to move our this one. The decimal should come after our first non-zero digit. So we are moving this decimal to this side, and we are moving in which direction? Left. So remember, when it's left, the number of times we move, the sign is going to be positive because you are moving to the left. So we move 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we move 3 times. Okay, so this the same as 7.716 times 10 exponent. Now remember, we move to the left, and I said the left is positive. If it's going to confuse you, it's the opposite of the x-axis. So when you know it's opposite of x-axis, then you just change the sign. Okay, so to the left is positive. So this is the same as this. Then so 7716 times 10 exponent negative 7 is going to be the whole of this one is this, so we put this one over here. Okay, so we have 7.716 times 10 exponent 3, okay, then times 10 exponent negative 7. Okay, this is already in the standard form. Okay, since the decimal is right after the 0 digit, so you need to simplify this one. So from the law of indices, it says if they are multiplying, you add their powers. So you have 7.716 times 10 exponent 3 plus negative 7. Okay, so 3 plus negative 7 is the same as 3 minus 7 is what? Negative 4. So our standard form is going to be 7.716 times 10 exponent negative 4. Okay, so that will be the answer for that question. So this explaining what standard form is. All this is the Spanish which I've explained then. So you simplify this one. When you simplify, remove 3 times to the left, so it's going to be positive. So you replace this one, the whole of this one by that one, and multiply by this. You apply the law of indices, which is that the bases are the same. Add the powers. Okay, so you just add the powers. So you get it in this form. Okay, so that's it for the B part. Then question number 6a. A cylindrical container of height 28 centimeters and diameter 18 centimeters is filled with water. Then the water is then poured into another container with a rectangular base of length 27 centimeters and width 11 centimeters. Calculate the depth of the water in the container. Okay, so this one, the concept is simple. So math is about concept. So that's why when I'm explaining, normally I write the concept there so that I know what concept is being applied. So math is just the everyday life. Whatever we do, it has to do with math. So if they say Kofi is 10 years older than the sister, if you are giving the sister's age, you should be able to calculate how much is Kofi's age, because Kofi is 8 years more. You just add 8 years more, 8 years to the sister's age, you'll be able to get Kofi's age. If you are giving Kofi's age, you just subtract the age from Kofi's age, you get the sister's age. So everyday life is we apply maths, but normally our mind don't come there. So if you are having a cylindrical object, you can, let's say, a cup of this, okay, and you pour water in it. Then the volume of water you have in this container, if you pour that same volume, okay, in another container, okay, in another container, okay, so in another container, the same volume of water you have here is what you pour into this container. So the volume here is going to be the same as the volume here. Since none was poured away, the same volume we put over here. So if you know the volume of water here, it should be the same volume of water you have here. So you can calculate any other this thing you are asked to solve. So the volume of a cylinder, this was said to be a cylindrical object. Okay, so the volume of a cylinder is pi r square h. As you know, volume is area times height. So the area of a circle is pi r square multiplied by the height. So the volume of a cylindrical object is pi r square h. Okay, and the volume of a rectangular object is length times breadth times height or depth. Here it talks about the depth of the water, so you can use depth, which is the D. And anytime next time it's asking of height, you can also calculate the same thing, height or depth. Okay, over here. So this volume we will calculate should be the same as the volume we will calculate over here. Okay, so which values were we given? We were given pi to be 22 over 7. Okay, then we are given diameter, and diameter, if you want to get radius, half of the diameter gives you radius, so diameter over 2. Okay, so sorry for the call interaction. So we have half of a diameter will give you as radius. So if you divide the diameter by 2, we are supposed to get our radius. Okay, we are giving the diameter to be what was the diameter? I think 18. So our radius is going to be 18 over 2, which gives us what? 9. Okay, so the pi r square h. Then what else do we also know? The height. So the height, we know the height of the cylinder to be 28. So our h is also 28. Okay, so we know the whole of this value. We know the pi 22 divided by 7. Our radius, half of the diameter, which is 9, and our height. So which implies that we have the volume of the cylinder to be 22 divided by 7 times our radius, which is 9 square. 9 square is the same as 9 times 9. So now we multiply it square. R square is just R times R itself. So 9 times 9. Okay. And times our h, which is the height, which is 28. Okay. So when we simplify this, which is the volume, we are supposed to get that of the volume of the water in the container. So this one too, what and what do we know? So we are giving the length to be 27, and the width the same as the breadth, also to be 11. So here you know L to be 27. Then we know our B width or breadth to be 11. We don't know our depth, so we can say let B is equal to our depth. Okay, so now when we calculate for our volume here, should be equal to the volume of the cylinder. So which implies that our 27 times 11 times our depth should be equal to our 22 over 7 times 9 times 9 times 28. Okay, now we can simplify this side. Okay, now 7 goes here, 1 goes here, I think 4. Okay, so this becomes 22 times 9 times 9 times 4. Now, like I always advise, when you are solving for a value or something in the equation, don't simplify yet, so that you know what and what to divide it to make the simplification easier. Okay, so here we are looking for D, and our 27 and our 11, they are multiplying D. So if we divide both sides by that, you are able to be able to cancel it, and the D will be left alone. So which means that our 27 times 11 times D. Okay, all divided by the multiplication of them so that they can cancel. Whatever you do at the left hand side, you must do the same thing at the right hand side. So we have 27 times 11. Okay, and this will cancel this. So we only have our D here. Now we need to simplify this. Now 11 goes into 22 two times. Okay, now 9 can go here, can go into, can 9 go into 27. I think that will be 3 if I'm right. Okay, because 3 10 give you 30, so 3 9 should give you 27. Okay, so 9 goes here 3. Okay, and 3 goes here 1, goes here also 3. Okay, so we are going to get 2 times 1 times 3 times 4 to be our value of our depth. So this is equal to 2 times 1 times 3 times 4. So that will be 2 times 1 is 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, so our answer is supposed to be 24 centimeters. Okay, so and that is it. Is it? Yeah, we are correct. Okay, so the concept, the volume of the water in the cylinder should be equal to the volume of water in the rectangular container. So you equate them. If you don't know the depth, then you should know how to calculate for the volume of a cylinder. Pi r square h gives you the volume of a cylinder. So you use to calculate for the volume of the water in the cylinder. And you can simplify. 7 goes here, 1 goes into then 28 4 times. So you can have it like this. And I advise you not to simplify yet. Leave it. If you multiply, the number becomes big. So simplification becomes difficult. So you leave it this way. Now, you calculate for the volume of water in the rectangular shape. So which is going to length times breadth times height. The breadth is the same as the width. So you have 27 times 11 times our depth. This should be equal to the volume of the water in the cylinder. So we look for D. Now, since this and this are multiplying, you divide both sides by their multiplication. So that they can cancel each other. So you have D is equal to the whole of this divided by 27 times 11. Now you simplify. 11 goes into 22 two times. Then 3 goes into 27 3 times. And 3 also goes into 9 3 times. So you end up getting something like this, which when you simplify, you are going to get this. Okay, so that's for question number 4. So we move on to question number 5. So question number 5 says if 11y is equal to 18 square minus 15 square, find the value of y. So this one, there are two ways of solving it. You can calculate this one, then you calculate that one, then you subtract from it. Then the result you get, you continue with the simplification by 11 coming to divide the result. Okay, so the no square is just the number by itself again, multiplied by itself again. So 18 square is the same as 18 times 18. Now 15 square is the same as 15 times 15. So you calculate their result, then you subtract, then you divide by the distance. We also have a concept we call difference of two square. So the difference of two square, it says that the difference of two square says that if you have something like a plus b being multiplied by a minus b, okay, they are almost the same, just that we have plus here, we have negative here. Okay, so the difference of two square, if you have something like this, is just the first one square minus the second one square. Okay, so if we have 18 square minus 15 square. You can write it in this format, which is the 18 plus 15 into bracket the 18 minus 15. So we have 18 plus 15 into bracket 18 minus 15. So this concept is called difference of two squares. Okay, so here when you add this one, what do you get? 8 plus 5 gives you 13. Then 1 plus gives you 2 plus 1. So you get 33. So 33 multiplying 18 minus 15 is 3. Okay, so which means that our 11y is equal to 33, and if they are in bracket, it means they are multiplying, so you can still write it this way. Okay, now we want to get rid of the 11. It's multiplying, so we divide both sides by 11. So we have y is equal to 33 times 3 all over 11. Okay, now if we divide here, the 11 is going to cancel, so if you like you can ignore it. So we have y is equal to this. Now 11 goes here 1, goes into 33 3 times, but 3 times 33 will give you 11. So you end up getting this 3 times the 3, which is 9. So our y is equal to 9. Okay, so if you decide to use this one, the other second approach, you have to calculate 18 times 18. 18 squared is 18 times 18. Then you subtract by 15 times 15. Then the result you get is simplify. So if you check the solution, we have method 1. So the method 1 is using the difference of two squares, which I have explained. Now method 2, you simplify this and you simplify that. Now 18 squared is the same as 18 times 18, which gives you this one. You can do the calculation and see 18 times 18. So you do them, then you simplify. Because of our time, so you can do the calculation and verify if you get this value. Now 15 squared is the same as 15 times 15. So when you simplify it, you get this one. Then we have y, 11y is equal to 18 squared minus 15 squared. So where we have the 18 squared, we know the value to this. Then the minus, where we have the 15 squared, we know the value is this. So when you subtract this and this, you get 99. Okay, now we want to get rid of the 11. It's multiplying, so you divide both sides by 11. So we have y is equal to 99 divided by 11. Now 11 goes here 1, goes here 9. 9 times 11 gives you 99. So our y is 9. It's the same as the one we got over here. Okay, so both ways your answer is correct. So there are many multiple ways of solving the same thing in math using the concept. One concept can also work for the other concept, because once it is proven to be correct, once you apply it, you arrive at the same answer. So that is for question 5a. Then question 5b says find the perimeter of a circle with radius 35 centimeters. So like I've explained in the previous video, perimeter of a circle is just the same as circumference of the circle, but the perimeter is the length. Okay, so it's just the same as the circumference of a circle. So if you know the formula for finding the circumference of the circle, you just apply it. Then what is the formula for finding the circumference of a circle? You should know all these things by heart, this formula, because you are not given a formula book. Okay, abroad where they normally don't concentrate so much on memory things, they may give them formula book so that they can look into the formula and apply. But Ghana, the time I wrote my B.E.C.E, I don't remember they giving us a formula book. So it means we need to put everything in this coconut. Okay, all the formulas. Okay, so we'll try our best if we can provide a formula page where you can view the formulas, mathematical formulas on the page, so that you can use it to memorize them. So we know most of the formulas. So far, which formulas have we come across? you've come across the parameter of a rectangle and the parallelogram and rainbows, all the four-sided distance, but they have two sides equal. So if they have two sides equal, their parameter is just 2 times the length plus 2 times the breadth. So when you add them, you get the perimeter. For square have all the four sides equal. So you have, if you add all the four L's, you get 4 L's to give you your perimeter. Okay. Then you've also seen the formula for calculating the volume of a cylindrical object. Pi r squared gives us the volume of a cylindrical object. And you also seen the volume of a rectangular object, length times breadth times height. Okay. So normally in volume the unit is cube. So your formula should generate something that cube. So like length times breadth times height, centimeter times centimeter times centimeter, you get centimeter cube. So most of you get cube. And the volume of a cylinder, pi r squared h. The r squared gives you, if it's centimeter squared times another centimeter, which gives you centimeter cube. Okay, so you should remember some of these concepts. Okay, so now circumference of a circle is just 2 pi r. Okay, just 2 pi r. So here we are given the radius to be 35. So our circumference, which is the perimeter of the circle, is going to be 2. We are given the pi to be 22 divided by 7, and our radius to be 35. Okay, so now 7 goes here 1, goes into 35 5 times. So we end up getting 2 times 22 times 5. Okay, now the multiplication by 10 is easier. Okay, if you are multiplying anything by 10, you just add 0 to what you get. So you can simplify 2 times 5 first, which gives you 10. So you can have 22 times 10. Okay, so the multiplication by 10 is just adding 0 to the number. So we have 2 2 0. Okay, so when you are multiplying by a number of zeros, okay, the number of zeros, you just, if there is 1 here, when you do the multiplication, let's say a times this can be a number. So, and this can be another number, let's say b. It can be 1000, can be 2000, can be 3000, can be anything. So all you need to do is to multiply these numbers. Once you are done, you add the number of zeros left to it. Okay, so multiplication by numbers with zeros are easy to be done. You just add the digits, multiply the digits, then you attach the number of zeros to them. So here, simplify this and this first. So you get 10. Then 22 times 10, you just add 0 to this 22, you get 220. So our answer is going to be 220 centimeters. The R is in centimeters, so 220 centimeters, which is the perimeter of the circle. Okay, so that one is done. Then C, given that M is equal to R minus S all over 2R. So the same way, change of subjects are not difficult. Change of subject is not difficult. It's as easy as you can think of. If you apply a concept, always get rid of the fraction, the denominator, before then you simplify. That's the first step. Always think of a way to get rid of the denominator. So if there are multiple denominators, look for the LCM, a common multiple factor that you can use to multiply all of them, so that they will live there, so that you can have a linear only numerators, or only there's no other denominator in your equation. Then you can easily simplify. Okay. Then as I've been saying, every number is divided by 1. So this m is the same as m divided by 1. So if you are looking for the LCM of those two parameters, 1 and 2nr, it's going to be 2nr, because 1 can go into 2nr. Okay. So here our LCM is going to be 2nr. So we just multiply both sides by 2nr, so that we can cancel this one, cancel by the multiplication we have here. So we only have this one times this times the multiplication of that, and we can simplify. Okay, so let me clean this one. Okay, so we have what? M is equal to r minus x all over 2nr, and we have to make what the subject. Make r the subject of the relation. So we are asked to make r the subject. Okay, now, like I said, get rid of this thing. There is 1 here, but we don't write it. So the LCM of 1 and this is going to be 2nr. So you multiply both sides by 2nr. So you have 2nr times m is equal to r minus x. Okay, so what are we looking for? We have to look for r. Okay, now this s is negative. So in order for us to get not to be dividing by a negative value, we can move this s over here. So we can move this s over here so that it will be positive. Then we move the result of this one over here. Now it is positive here, so when it comes here, it's going to be negative. So you end up getting, when the negative s comes here, you are going to get s is equal to, then our r is already here, so r minus, now when this one comes, it's positive, so it's going to be minus. So we have 2n r m. The m, when it's multiplied, it's attached to this one. Now we can factorize our r out. We want to make r the subject, so we can factorize it out. Okay, so we have our s is equal to, so we are bringing r out. Okay, now this is the same as r times 1, but we don't write it. R is the same as r times 1. Okay, times 1. So if you brought r out, it's going to be left with 1. So here we have 1 here minus, so our sign is minus. So we have our 2 here, we have our n here. We've already brought our r here, so we don't need to bring it. Then we have our m. Okay, so that's it. Now we want to make r the subject. Okay, and this one is dividing, so we need to, it's multiplying, so we need to divide both sides by that. So we end up getting x over 1 minus 2n m should give us our r. Okay, because when you divide both sides, it will cancel each other, so you only be left with r. So if you go and divide, so this will be our final result. Okay, let's check. Okay, so we have s over 1 minus 2n. Okay, now it says that find the value of r when our s, so here our s is equal to 117. Okay, then our m is equal to 2. So m is equal to 2. And our n is equal to negative 3. Okay, so which implies that our r is equal to our s. Our s is 117. Okay, divided by 1 minus 2. What is the value of our n? Our n is negative 3. So we have negative 3 here. And our m is what? 2. Okay, we have 117 divided by, now remember, negative times negative gives you positive. So here it becomes 1 plus 2 times 3 times 2. Okay, so when you simplify this, 2 times 3 is what? 6. Times 2 is 12. So we have 12 here. and we have plus 1. So this one becomes 117 all over 13. Okay. So you check if 13 can go into this. So you can use your division, long division, let's see. So you have 13 here. Okay. So how many times can this thing go into it? You cannot go over it. Yes, it means you have to find out the total value it can go into this one. So if you multiply by 10, you get 1/3. So this is less than 1/3. So our value should be below 10. So if you try 9, so let's try 9 and see. Times 9. This one will give you what? 3, 7, 8, 3, 9, 27. So you have 7, remember 2. Okay. 1 times 9 is 9 plus 2, which is 11. Okay. So 13 will go into this 9 times. 13 goes here 1, it goes here 9 times. So our result is going to be 9. Okay. So that's how you do your division. Okay. So sometimes you need to use certain concepts like what I did. I've already told you that if you multiply a number by 10, just adding zeros to that number. So if you multiply by 13 by 10, you get 130. Okay, so 130 is more than this one. So you can see that 13 cannot go into this 10 times. So you have to be coming down. So you can try 8. And since there is 7 here, you know that 8 times 3 doesn't give you 7. So you move on to 9 and so on. So you keep on moving on until you get the result. So far as it's easily divisible by it, doesn't give any fraction. But if here it was able to go inside, then you can be going down until you get your final result. Okay, so the answer is 9. So the answer is 9. So that brings us to question number 5. So we are on the last part. We are on the last part. So the last part, this is a graph we need to plot. Okay, so this is a graph we need to plot. So remember, before you write your B.E.C.E exams, you should be able to know how to draw a graph. You should be able to know how to use your mathematical set to construct figures that you'll be given instruction, do this, do that, construct 90 degrees, construct this and that. You should be able to do that. All you should be able to know that. Okay. Then you should be able to also know the reflection, the translation, reflection the y-axis, reflection the x-axis, and the rest. All is about graphs. So know all the possible graphs. Then you can also come to statistics where you know the pie chart, the bar chart, and all those. These are compulsory things you should know before you even get to the example. Plotting of graph and drawing of a pie chart, bar chart, histogram, calculating the mean, calculating the mode, calculating the median. All these things you need to know because there are questions that if this don't come, that one comes. So you need to fully be prepared for that. So that you do your best to at least, if you don't get 1, you can get 2, you can get 3. Okay. So as we are coaching you, we hope you'll be able to follow our advice so that you'll be able to at least get a very good or excellent grade in your mathematics and other subjects that we are teaching over here. So at the moment we are teaching only science, English, and math. So as time goes on, we add other subjects. But at the moment, these are the 3 subjects you want to focus for now. Okay. So question number 6. It says copy and complete the table for the relation. So this is the relation y is equal to 12x minus 9. So we have to use the relation to solve for our value of y. Okay, so the relation, you pick the one value of x, then use the relation to calculate it. Okay, so here you are given some, the rest you need to calculate. So now when our x is equal to -2, we put -2 over here, so we end up getting 12 times -2 minus 9. Now 12 times -2 gives you -24. So you get -24 minus 9. That gives you negative what? 33. So here is going to be -33. Okay. So new. So our y is equal to what? 12x minus 9. So you take them one after the other. So when your x is equal to which one do you start? -2. Okay. So when our x is equal to -2, we end up getting y is equal to 12 times -2 minus 9. So this 12 times -2 is -24. So like I said, you should master your multiplication. So some of these multiplications you should know this, so you don't have to be writing on paper because time is against you. So 12 times 2 negative, the call negative become -24, then minus 9. Okay. Now this 9 to it is giving you a challenge. You can split this 9 into -6 and -3. Now if you join this one, it gives you -30, then you add a -3 to it, then you know it's supposed to be -33. Okay. So because time is against you, have to find a fast way of doing things. Okay. So we have y is equal to, now when our x is -1, so we have 12, and we have -1 minus 9. So if anything is bracket, it also means multiplication. So if you multiply 12 by -1, you get -12 minus 9. Okay, so this one too, it is going to give you a challenge. You know that if you add 8 to 12, you get 20, then you are left with 1. So you count 21. Okay, so we have 21 over here. When our s is 0, it has already been solved. So we move on to when our y is equal to 1. Okay, so we have 12 when our s is equal to 1 minus 9. Okay, so here this one you get 12 minus 9, which you should know that is supposed to be what? 3. Okay, if you add 3 to 9, you get 12. So it's supposed to be 3. So here it's supposed to be 3. Then when it is 2, so when it is 2, we have 12, then 2 here, then minus 9. So you get 24 minus 9. So 24 minus 9, what do you get? What do you get? What do you get? What do you get? 24 minus, you add 11 to this one, you are going to get 20. So plus the 4, so you get 15. Okay, so 15 plus 9 should give you 24. So you've gotten 15. Then the last one, 3. When it's 3, when our x is equal to 3, we have y is equal to 12 times 3 minus 9. Okay, so this one when you multiply you get 36, because 2 times 3 is 6, then 1 times 3 is 3, so you get 36 minus 9. Okay, this one too, you get 20 what? This one 21 plus this, you get 30 plus 6, so you get 27. Okay, so this gives you 27. So if you add 27 to this, you're supposed to get 36. So to verify if you are correct. Okay, so 5 plus this one will give you 30, then the remaining 4 correct. If you add this one, you get 16, and plus it, you get 36. Okay, so that's it for y. Then what is the next one? 4 has been solved, so we get to 5. When our s is 5, so y is equal to 12. Our s is 5 minus 9. Okay, now 12 times 5 gives us 60. So 60 minus 9. Okay, so what number when you add to this one, you get 60, which is 51. So 51 plus 9 should give us this. So here is 51. So that's it for all of them we've calculated, so you can verify. So this is the explanation of the solutions. We got all of them. So it says you should calculate and redesign it. So you need to draw the table and fill in the gap because you get marks for them. They also should show working so that you know that you didn't copy, but you are able to do the calculation yourself. So when you show it working, you fill all the gap, then use it to plot the graph. Okay. So the next thing is plotting the graph. So I'm going to explain to you how you can plot the graph. In the question, you are given the unit you should use to plot the graph. Okay, it says in the x-axis 2 centimeter to 1 unit. So we have 1 unit. So the x-axis is made of 1 unit. So as you can see, we have from 1 to 5, and -1 to -5. Okay, so that's basically that for the distance. Then for the y-axis, it says we should use 10 units. Okay, so 10 units. So each of them is supposed to be 10 units in the y-axis. So you get 10, 20, 30, and so on. So you get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and -10 in that order. Okay, now the tricky thing is that you need to calculate for each one cell. Okay, the width of one cell in each of the axes. Okay, so there are 10 smaller cells in the box. Okay, so if you count, you can see that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in each interval in the y and the x axis is 10 smaller boxes. So you need to calculate the value of one smaller box. Okay, so to calculate the volume of one smaller box for the x axis is the unit of the x axis divided by 10. So x axis has a unit of 1, so 1 divided by 10. So each small interval we have is 0.1. Okay, and that of the y-axis is 10 divided by 10. Since the unit is 10, which is 1. So each small value we have is 1. So this is 10. So this position is going to be 11 because 1 plus 10. And this position is going to be 12 because we have 1, 2. So we have 10 plus 1, which is 11, plus another one, which is 12. Then if you add another one in that order. So if you are able to calculate one cell, it's easy for you to do the calculation. Okay, whenever they ask you to trace any position, if you know the width of one cell, you can know how much that position value is, or what that position value is. Okay, so we've calculated for the smaller cell for the x-axis 0.1, and for the y-axis is 1. Okay, so what was the instruction? Using the table, plot all the points of the relation. Okay, so we are going to plot each of the points. Okay, so -2 and -33. So -2 is easy over here. It's over here. So you need to relocate -33. So like I told you, so -3 is over here. This is -30. Now we know each cell is what? 1. So 33 is just adding 3 smaller cells to the 30. So you have 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be over here. Then when it's negative, our y is -21. So you can see 21 is just adding 1 cell to 20, since 1 cell is 1. So when it is -1, you just add 1 cell to the 20. So it's going to be over here. Okay. Now when it is 0, the cell is 9. So when it's 0, 9. Now you know that each cell is 1. So 9 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, which is the cell before the 10. Okay. Now, when it is 3, so you continue, you plot all of them in the same concept. Okay. So 27, after 20, you count 7 of them. 39, after 30, you count 9 of them. So after 30, you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The corresponding exercises. So exercises is 4. So you move here, you count, this is 30. So you add, since it's 1, 1, 1, you add 9 to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it lands over here. The same the 51. So 51 after 5, after 50, you just add 1 to it, you get your 51. So this is 50. So you just move to one cell, you get your 51. So to make it easier for you plotting a graph, always calculate the value of each smaller cell on the graph so that you can easily do your calculation and easily locate the position of your graph. So now let's continue. The IV says that, so if you plot, you just rule a straight line. Or it's a straight line because you need to get a straight line, not a curve, because the equation is a straight line. The equation is a straight line equation. Okay, so as you can see, like we saw in our previous question, the equation of a straight line. This is the gradient, and this is the y-intercept. Okay, so y is equal to ms plus c. This is the equation of a straight line. So you're supposed to get a straight line. If you are not getting a straight line, then you are doing something wrong. Okay, so now let's use a graph to answer the question you were asked solve. Okay, so when our s is equal to 2.5, so we need to locate 2.5 on our x-axis, then we will trace it to meet our straight line. Then we look for its corresponding y value. Okay, so 2.5. So we know that the x-axis has a 0.1 value. Each cell is 0.1. So 2.5 is just 2 plus 0.5. And 0.5 is 0.1 times 5. So after the 2, we need to move 5 smaller cells to locate our 2.5. Okay, so here we have our 2 over here. So the 2.5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 5. Okay, so that's a smaller division of it since it's half of it. So that's 2.5. So you trace it to meet your line. So the 2.5 meets over here. So when you join it, you get 21 because each cell is 1. So you get 21. Okay. Now, if you want to add some error margin, you can add plus or minus your value, your length value. So for the x-axis, you can have 21 plus or minus 1. Okay. Then, so when you trace, you get 21. So either write it 21 or 21 plus or minus 1. Then we come to the next one. It says when y is equal to 10. So when our y is equal to 10, you trace the value of y, which is 10 over here. So you trace it to meet your line. So where it meets the line, you project it to meet the x-axis. Okay. So in the x-axis, we have 1 over here. So you can count how many smaller cells you have. Then you multiply it with 0.1 and add it to 1. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 6. So 6 times 0.1, you get from after 1, how many this one? Then you add it to 1, so you get 1.6. Or this is also 1.5. So you add 0.1 to it, you still get 1.6. Okay. So when our y is equal to 10, our x value is going to be 1.6. Now, when it's a straight line, you can also verify the answers you are getting from the equation. So since you are given the equation, you just put, if you are looking for y, you just put the value of s inside. Then you can get its corresponding value. Okay. So for example, if we are looking for the y value for the 2.5. So here our s is 2.5. So you have 12 times 2.5 minus 9. So you put it inside, then you simplify. Now when you simplify, you can see that you get 21. So on your graph, the margin should also match around that part, either plus or minus the interval, one interval you have. Okay, so that's it. And the same with y. When you are looking for s, you already know y. So here our y is 10. 10 is over here, so we can look for our value of x. So when the 10 is here, 9 will go. So we get 10 plus 9, which is 19. It's equal to 12x. Then 12 will divide 19. Then you get your 1.58 something, approximately 1.6. Okay, so that is it for the graph aspect. So always the concept is that calculate each smaller cell so that you'll be able to find out the value on each of the mapping. So that to calculate each unit, you know each interval is divided by 10, a smaller one. So the unit over 10 will give you each smaller unit, how much is worth on both of the axes. So once you know, you can count them and multiply by the unit, then you can get its value. Okay, so we move on to our last question. It says list the integers within the interval 7 less than x and x is less than or equal to 410. Okay, now less than or equal to means that that thing is also inclusive. Okay, so if it's less than, it is not included. If it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, then the one which we have that inequality next to, it means it is inclusive. So you can read this in English. Once you've read it in English, you'll be able to know what are the elements or what are the lists you should have. So if you are reading it in English or in plain English, it says that 7 is less than x and our s is also less than or equal to 410. So since 7 is less than x and it says it's integers, so it means that your s values are greater than 7. Because since 7 is less than s, then automatically s is greater than 7. So s will be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And it says s is also less than or equal to 15, which means that s can never be greater than 14. Okay, less than or equal to 14, meaning that s can never be greater than 14. Okay, so when you are listing 8 from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. We included 14 because they say or equal to. This sign means or equal to. So it means that 14 is also included. If you were to be only less than, then you need to end at 13. But since it says less than or equal to, then you need to include your 14 there. Okay, so if you can see here, that's the list. So you have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So as I have explained to you, read it in English. Once you read it in English and you understood, however they put the question, you fully understood what that inequality means, so you can answer it. Okay, so this is read as 7 is less than x. Okay, and our x, so here after you've done it, but add and our x here is less than or equal to 14. So which means that since 7 is less than x, so our x values are greater than 7. Okay, but it says that it's also less than 14, so even our s cannot be more than 14. And because it has the equal to, because the bottom means or equal to, so because that or equal to, it means 14 must also be included, but 15 and the rest are not included. So you list all of them. Okay, so we've successfully gone through the 2020 mathematics, B.E.C.E Mathematics. So hopefully we'll be able to solve that of the 2019 and put it on the website and also prepare a tutorial video for you. So it's our humble hope that by the time you write your B.E.C.E, which you have about 1 month, you'll be able to solve at least 5 past questions with explanation on it. So that if you are able to watch all the series of that explanation and you come to the website, you also have additional notes you are preparing. You'll be fully prepared for the exam so that you come out with flying colors. That's our ambition. You come to the website to learn, you watch the tutorial video, you go and write the exam fully. You will be able to fully solve that question, and after the exam you just smiling. Okay, so share the good news with your friends. You cannot if somebody told you, because the person also loves you, you also express love to others, but also telling them so that they can also have access to this material and also go through them as well. So visit coolchat.com to solve further past questions, and it's my humble hope that I'll be able to solve that of the 2019 also and put it on the site as well as in the video. So 2019 we have the solved question there, but not complete. We are yet to complete it, and I can prepare the video for you. So subscribe to our YouTube channel so that anytime we upload any video, you'll be able to get a notification. Then you can watch the video as well as go through our lesson materials. But my name is Godwin, as you may have already heard in the previous videos. So this is a 4-part video. Please make sure you watch all of them. We have video 1, video 2, video 3, video 4. Video 1, consider the section A from 1 to 21, and video 2, consider section A from 22 to 40. Video 3, consider section B from 1 to 3. And this is our last video, which considers section B from 4 to 6. So enjoy the rest of the day and practice more, and the maths is going to be very easy for you. Do not fear the B.E.C.E Mathematics. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.